Everyone in crypto is farming the DePIN narrative right now. But here's the uncomfortable truth. More than 5.7 million devices are connected to DePIN networks, yet less than 20% of projects generate real sustained revenue. So instead of chasing logos and hype decks, let's talk about who is actually running infrastructure in 2025. Because DePIN isn't just a trend, it's a $33 billion machine economy, and most of it is smoke. So first off, we have the S tier, where the DePIN stops being crypto and starts being infrastructure. And I feel these are the projects that which still exist even if the tokens went to zero. And yeah, I'm not just saying it just for the sake of it, but yes. Firstly, we have Bittensor Tau. It's just not an AI crypto. It runs over 100 live AI subnets that pay models for real inference, rankings, intelligence, and whatnot. It controls roughly one third of all deep in AI activity, and that's huge. Because there's a decentralized labor market for machine intelligence where I think Tao is the only project in crypto that actually looks like an open AI economy at this point. And moving on, we'll have to add Render in the S tier as well, because I think Render processed over 1.5 million frames in Q3 2025 alone, and that's millions of GPU hours sold at up to 85% cheaper than centralized cloud. With Apple, Nvidia, and Solana integrations, I think Render isn't just competing with AWS; it's just undercutting it, and it's winning. So yeah, Render is in the S tier. Next up, we'll put Filecoin in there because I think Filecoin now has over 1 petabyte of enterprise data stored on chain. Yeah, 1 petabyte, you heard that right. And uh, more than 800 large clients store over a terabyte each. And I think that's huge. With the Filecoin virtual machine, Ethereum apps can also now run directly on top of decentralized storage, which makes File one of the few depends that is tied directly to real business data. So it has to be up there in the S tier. Moving on to the A tier, where we put in projects that already have real customers, but the token design and unlocks still are not that great. So first of all, we have Helium. We'll put in Helium there because nearly 1 million hotspots, over 29 terabytes of data per day, and now partnered with AT&T for 5G. Helium isn't just a crypto project anymore. I feel it's a huge ass telecom company that happens to be tokenized. And moving ahead, we have Aethir in the A tier. We'll put it, oh, that was a double entendre, Aethir in the A tier. So we have over 435K GPU containers, $147 million in annualized revenue. Yes, this project is generating revenue with over 70% utilization, which is double the industry average. And kudos to Aethir for actually pulling these numbers off. And I feel that is enterprise grade cloud economics. So Aethir has to be up there in the A tier. And next up, we'll put Theta in the A tier because obviously over 10,000 nodes and 80 petaflops of distributed compute for video, esports, and AI. I think this is the closest thing that crypto has to a decentralized Netflix plus AI CDN. So I think Theta has to be up there in the A tier. Moving ahead, we have the Graph, which indexes 90 plus blockchains and supports around 3 billion in ecosystem data. And um, I always say that if DePIN is the physical world, the Graph is actually the data nervous system for it. So the Graph has to be up there in the A tier. And next up, I'll add two more DePIN projects, which I think first would be IO and the next would be Akash, because together they provide tens of thousands of GPUs at 50 to 80 to 85% lower cost than AWS, which is huge. And IO alone already has $20 million in on-chain revenue, which is huge. So I think the only thing that probably holds them back from the S tier is the token dilution. So yeah, moving ahead to the B tier, I think this is where most deep in investors actually live. We have GeoNet up there. We have GeoNet, which actually runs 20,000 GPS stations and generates $6 million in ARR, providing centimeter level accuracy, which is magnificent for a crypto project. And I think that's serious infrastructure right there. But the minor ROI swings widely, which is a bit dicey at times. But I think GeoNet has got the potential to climb up the ladders to the A tier anytime soon, maybe the S tier. We never know. And then we have HiveMapper and Natix, which have mapped over 300 million kilometers of roads using dash cams. But then you again have emissions and token supply, which actually make them a bit dicey. So they're in the B tier. And then next up, we'll put Peak in the B tier because, it hosts 50 plus machine economy projects, which pushes over 49,000 TPS. And, the downside is, 4.3 billion token supply, which crushes the upside. So these are real companies wearing, a bit not that great token suits, but I think again, they're great. They all have potential to climb up the ladder. Now we move on to the C tier, the DePIN projects, which are not that great, not that bad as well, but they're not just the leaders. First up, we have Grass, which has over 3 million users, but they dumped 181 million tokens in October. Then we have BitTorrent, which has over 100 million users, but nearly a trillion tokens. And then you have AIOZ, Okta, GHX. They all have great ideas, but no scale, and they may survive, but actually they won't own the machine economy, right? The reason for them being in the C tier. So I feel, DePIN is not just a narrative, it's a physical infrastructure war going on, and it'll even get tighter and harder. And I think the winners will be the ones that own real hardware, generate real revenue, and control real data and compute, the three things which matter, to me at least. And everything else I feel is just a token with a story. And in the next cycle, I think stories won't matter, but machines definitely will. And that's a wrap for today. If you found this video helpful, do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and also push on that notification bell for future updates from our Crypto Talk. I'll catch you up in the next video. Till then, bye bye.